Hello and welcome to this special broadcast on NDTV. We are joined by Shashi Tharoor joining us at this point. A very good evening to you, sir, over here. Just wanted to start by saying that we've been watching all your pictures of how you've been campaigning very quickly straight out of the hospital. Just to start off with, how are you feeling now?
I'm much better, thanks. There's not very much pain, just a few lingering stitches which have to be removed in a few days' time. But I'm very much on the mend and back on the trail.
And all the love that you seem to be getting got you all the attention from very senior leaders in the BJP. The pictures we saw of Nirmala Sitharaman coming and visiting you there in the hospital, Rajnath Singh calling you up as well. I just want to know, was it a bit of a surprise? Was it a surprise visit, or did they tell you in advance that they'll come and check up on you?
No, it really was a bit of a surprise, particularly since the BJP candidate in Thiruvanthapuram himself has still not even called. I don't blame him. I'm not expecting anyone to do so. But to hear from two central ministers and the outgoing speaker was very touching. I think it's good to have some civility in politics. Our politics used to be a lot more civil than it has turned out in recent years. And it'll be great if we can restore some of that civility. We are human beings. We are devoted to the nation's well-being. We have different ways of understanding what is good for the nation and working for it. But that doesn't mean we lose our humanity. And I'm very touched that they took the trouble to make that effort.
All right, you talked about the candidate over there, so let me bring in some politics at this point. The seat you're fighting from, Sir Thiruvanthapuram, it's not an easy game, would you say that at this point? Even if you look at the results back in 2014, the only candidate, or the BJP candidate, which does not have a very big presence in Kerala, so to say, the only one who managed to come close to the victory mark was the one against you. This time around, BJP has fielded a former Mizoram governor. The LDF has a strong candidate of popular minister there as well. Are you worried about what it's looking like at the moment?
No, I'm not worried, but it's certainly a close three-cornered contest. I'm very confident I can defeat either of them on their own. But with all three of us in the fray, there's always a risk of votes crumbling in this direction or that. And therefore, it's been a hard campaign. I mean, we haven't let up at all. There's been no rest. It's been an unusually long campaign for Kerala. Both my previous elections were 3-week campaigns. This one's a 6-week campaign. But we're coming down to the wire well ahead. And all our impressions from across the constituency suggest that I will win with a bigger margin than last time. But right down to the last day, until the votes are cast and the votes are counted, we're taking nothing for granted.
But who is competition number one at this point in the post-Sabrimala narrative, in the post-Sabrimala environment, so to say, where BJP is trying to make a comeback? Do you see LDF as a bigger contest or the BJP?
Normally, this would have been more of an LDF stronghold. I took the seat from the LDF. The Communists had won the 2 previous elections before I won in 2009, and I held the seat in 2014. But today, the surveys suggest that the BJP may be doing better than the LDF once again. They're extremely well funded and well resourced, and I'm not sure that, that anyone can match the amount of money and muscle they've poured into this campaign. At the same time, we have hard-working, dedicated Congress workers, and the LDF itself has a strong ideologically based cadre here. So I would say all three are working pretty hard. As far as the BJP candidate, you mentioned Sabrimala, yes, they're running a nakedly communal campaign. The irony about their running on Sabrimala is they've had power. They've actually had a majority in parliament, and they've had the Prime Minister and the President from their ranks, and on top of that, they could have used the central government to submit a review petition to the Supreme Court. They've actually done nothing. They're running claiming that they have stood by the believers on Sabrimala, but they've actually missed every opportunity to ease the pain of the believers. They've neither submitted a review petition, nor introduced a law in Parliament where they have a majority, nor have they introduced an ordinance from Delhi. So the result is that they've done nothing to ease the pain of the believers, and yet here they are going around saying, vote for us, we stood with you on Sabrimala. I'm surprised that so many believers are being taken in by this.
But let me interrupt you over there and say this. When it comes to Sabrimala, the narrative that the Congress has come out with has also been a bit confusing. You had Rahul Gandhi come out and say he's revised his position on Sabrimala. What is your line today when it comes to Sabrimala, and what is it that you're promising the voters in Kerala?
No, we're all on the same page, let me tell you. I mean, if you frame the issue as one of equality, every congressman is for equality. But if you realize by listening to the people themselves that the issue is not being seen by them, and I mean women as well in Kerala, as one of equality, but rather as one of sanctity, and sanctity that has been violated in their sense, they've taken this as a rather visceral sort of kick, which in many ways they've seen as an assault on beliefs they hold sacred. So as political representatives, we have to be sensitive to the passionate beliefs of the devotees, because these are the people we are representing in Parliament. And it became very clear that this was an issue where we were applying the tests of civil law and rationality to a religious practice which is in many ways beyond these rules. In many Western democracies, we have similar things. I mean, even in democracies where you cannot, for example, discriminate against women in a club or a government job, the Catholic Church is allowed to have only male priests, and women are not permitted to have those positions, or bishops or cardinals or anything else. Now, you may say that's a violation of equality,
okay,
but the fact is that it is a religious practice sanctified by millennia of tradition, and Sabrimala is in a similar place. People feel that this is very intrinsic to their way of worship, and we have to learn sometimes where to draw the balance in the stands we take. And I have, like Rahul Gandhi, moved from emphasizing the equality aspect to respecting the sanctity aspect. And the Congress party in Kerala has been consistent on this. They have, when they were in power here, they gave a petition to the Supreme Court against doing such a thing, against the case that had been filed by these 6 women from the RSS. But instead, what the BJP has done is they've got these 6 women from the RSS to instigate the case, when they welcomed the result when it came out, and then they turned on a dime when they realized that this was politically a golden opportunity, a sort of Ayodhya moment in the South, to communalize the electorate. And that is why what the BJP is doing is so particularly cynical. They've converted a sacred shrine into a stage of political theatre, even though they've actually had the power to ease the pain of the believers through any of the means available. The irony being that they have not eased the pain, and yet they're winning votes or claiming to win votes.
We were all left a little confused with the statements of Rahul Gandhi, and thus it's good to have you clear the air about where exactly Congress stands when it comes to this issue in Kerala. But let's look at Kerala. We've talked about your constituency. Let's look at it at a big picture at this point. Can I ask you to make like a rough estimate of how many seats do you think Congress party is going to win in that state?
Well, we're part of an alliance called the United Democratic Front, which includes 4 of the 20 seats are being fought by our allies and 16 by us. All 4 by the allies look rock solid safe. They're going to win all 4. And of the 16, currently we are estimated to be in the lead in all 16, which means that we could actually have a clean sweep of the state for the UDF. Obviously, with the last 3-4 days, who knows whether 1 or 2 races may go here or there. But we're looking at an impressive number of seats coming from Kerala to a future UPA government in Delhi.
All right. On that note, you know, you talked about BJP and you said that their campaign, even in Kerala, looks nakedly communal at this point. I just wanted to get your comment also on Sadhvi Pragya, the Congress candidate against another very tall leader of the Congress party, Digvijay Singh. She's made some rather controversial statements today. I'm sure you've heard about the fact that she called the martyr in 2611. He called him an anti-national at all at this point. And what do you say? Do you see this sort of communal line digressing down south? Do you see that being a factor in Kerala as well?
Well, I'm afraid I've been on the campaign trail, so I've not heard these statements. But the candidacy of the so-called Sadhvi herself is a communal message. She is a very divisive and polarizing figure. And to give her the ticket is actually nailing the communal colours to the mast. As far as the BJP is concerned, I think they really have had a polarizing message at every stage in every part of the country. And it's really dismaying. Now, what she specifically said, I can't comment on because I haven't heard it. Yeah. But it doesn't surprise me if, as you say, she has made such divisive comments about a highly respected former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh.
But if BJP got that messaging wrong, according to you, one message is that Congress seems to be getting wrong at this point is the one on women's security. I'm sure you've heard about your colleague Priyanka Chaturvedi, who's now quit the Congress party over the fact that the party did not come out to respect the fact that those who misbehaved with her were reinstated in the party. Now, in a shocker, she's joined the Shiv Sena all of a sudden, and she's not the only one. Tom Vadakan as well came as a shocker when he switched sides. As we get closer to the phases, as the phases are running in, do you see that as a setback on the image of Congress party on the whole, the big picture?
Well, look, I honestly feel that the commitment of the Congress party to women's equality, empowerment and authority within the party is unquestionable, and that's the extent to which the lady in question had such a visible and prominent role would suggest that the Congress went out of its way to promote female talent. I'm not familiar with the latest developments. I've been on the campaign trail since early morning. But all I can say is that those who have advocated a particular ideological position, a particular stand on the certain values that should animate our country, if they find it so easy to switch to a party or parties that represent ideologically the polar opposite, then it calls into questions their principles and their convictions in the first place. You see, there are fundamental differences between those of us who believe in a plural India and the two parties, the BJP and the Shiv Sena, who believe in a Hindu Rashtra. There is simply no question of any common meeting ground between one set of beliefs and the other. Either you believe that religion is the determinant of nationhood, which was the idea of Pakistan during the freedom struggle, or you believe that our country should be for everybody with equal rights. That was the idea of India during the freedom struggle. We have built India on a constitution that recognizes everybody in every respect as equal, irrespective of their religious affiliation. We have one set of people, unfortunately, still in our country, who are trying to smuggle the idea of Pakistan into India and say that no, our country should be built for people of one faith, the Hindu Rashtra, the Hindu nation. Now, if you can join a party that says that and that believes it profoundly to the core of its being and is built on that premise, then all your earnest advocacy on television and everywhere else of the idea of India is called into serious question as to which of your convictions is sincere or not. And I would feel sorry for those who find themselves having to argue the opposite of what they have always projected they stood for in our country's politics.
All right, Mr. Tharoor, we've talked about your individual seat. We've talked about the big picture in Kerala, your colleagues as well. I just want to end by asking you one question that all of us, left all of us in a bit of a surprise. Rahul Gandhi contesting from Wayanad. You're from that state. Tell us a bit about how do you see that panning out, and the fact that the opposition at this point is saying, well, this is minority appeasement. So if you accuse the BJP of majority appeasement, you've been accused of a similar claim.
No, I think that's quite silly, because Rahul Gandhi is sending two messages by his decision to contest from Wayanad. The first is that a Prime Minister of India should be a Prime Minister of all Indians, and you can demonstrate that in no more effective way than being elected from both North and South. And that, I think, is one powerful message. The second message is we've seen that in the last 5 years, the Hindi, Hindutva, Hindustan mentality of our ruling party has created a real breach between North and South. The South is a very different place, as you will realize when you come and visit and travel here. And from the South, we see India as a country that enshrines diversity and pluralism. Many in the North have a much more narrow-minded view of what India is all about. And the fact, therefore, is for Rahul Gandhi to say, I'm from the North, but I will act to heal the breach between North and South, is a very powerful message. And I think both of these messages are what's coming across. Yes, since he's got to campaign around the country, if he's going to contest in the South, he would certainly contest in a seat which does not require full-time attention to win. And he has chosen a seat where the Congress party has been considered for the long time a sure winner. And that's good, because it means that he can just do 2 or 3 days of campaigning there and he will win, because the faith in the Congress party, in the values of the Congress party, is so deeply entrenched in that constituency. That doesn't qualify as minority appeasement. There are constituencies of various kinds of composition that Congress people can win in. It so happens that Kerala as a state is only 55% Hindu, and our minorities don't have a minority complex. They don't go around feeling like minorities, or the way in which the BJP has made minorities feel in other parts of the country. They are Keralites, they are Indians, they are secure, they are proud of themselves, and we don't think in the kinds of terms that the Prime Minister shamefully used about minority and majority. We think we're all human beings, we're all Indians, we're all Keralites, and we have the same rights, whatever religious practices we may have, and with those same rights, yes, we have our political preferences. And Rahul Gandhi will win in Wayanad without very much effort, because he embodies those values and preferences.
All right, Shashi Tharoor, thank you so much for speaking with us. We also wish you a very speedy recovery and good luck on the campaign trail. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.